material, and it's going to be of a rose. And since it is October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the rose is in dedication, of course, to all of the breast cancer survivors and victims, and to my mom, who I lost about 3 years ago now. So, everyone, I'm really excited to be bringing you this new material, and I really think you are going to like the painting tutorial. So, if you do like this channel, it really helps us out when you smash that like button and ring the bell so you'll be sent notifications and you won't miss a thing or a video. So, everyone, stay tuned. Next, I will be showing the materials that we will be using on the rose in today's tutorial. Okay, everyone. So next, I have the materials here, and we are going to be using the titanium white, of course, and we're going to be using some Alzire Crimson, and because I do like different varieties of red to mix with the titanium white for our pinks, I also have another Alzire red, just not with the crimson. And sap green, of course, because that is what we are going to have on the background. And ultramarine blue. And I added just a little dab of the yellow ochre in with my sap green for my background color. So next, I'm going to show you the brushes that we will be using also in today's tutorial. And we have the number 8 fan brush and the number 4 filbert. And I have the Duncan, of course. I use this in about every painting tutorial, basically. And we are going to need various sizes of flats and rounds for this. So, like for instance, I have this many flats. And I'll just come in a little closer and you can see the rounds and the flats. So these are the brushes and the painting materials that we will be using in today's painting tutorial, everyone. Okay, so I have the colors out here that I showed you all at the beginning, and I have the reds here, and I have some titanium white over here in the reserved areas. And I'm going to be showing you how we're going to be mixing up the lighter tones of this pastel pink for this rose. And then later on, we're going to use the other side and work outwardly, and we will be mixing up the darker tones and darker values. That's the same thing as color. But so I don't confuse you all, I just say colors because we haven't had Drawing 101 yet, but we are slowly incorporating that. Now, with the beads here, I want to explain these just briefly now, and then later in a moment, you're going to see our background color, and how I have found this color instead, and I want to use these different colors of the jade green here. Like for instance, here is a darker, I'll bring it in closer. There is a darker jade and then a lighter, and you'll see how I'm going to be using these for a color template. So that's what's happening with that. So I'm just going to start out here and pull some of this right here. Now this is the Algerian crimson here. You just want to use a little dab, and actually I have just a little too much on there, so I'm going to get some of that excess off there. And if you see you have too much, just bring it out a little and maybe pull that to the side, for instance. Make sure you get a lighter value here. And with the rose, I'm going to be needing several shades and hues of this pink and the lighter color, and the dark as well. to be doing this different, however, and I do hope you all. I am going to be adding a punch to this background, and I'm about to zoom in and let you all see this color closer up that I'm telling you about. This is an antique picture. And I love this color. So this is step number 1, everyone, is we have to achieve and decide on our background color. And so with the green being complementary with red on the color wheel, I have chosen this color, but if you all remember the beads I showed you, I'm going to be using these, I'm going to put them in front of the camera. There are different shades and hues, values of jade in here. Now this is something that I got at Hobby Lobby. Wow, okay, there's a great view of some of that jade. Now, just imagine this color and these colors and values of jade on our background color for this rose painting. And so I'm going to turn the camera over to the canvas and zoom back out here. Okay, now I have added the sap green. This is not jade, by no means, everyone, but it will be. Our first layer, since this is oil, this first layer, generally, you will notice this too when you do your rose painting, that first layer of color just absorbs through the canvas, and you have to let it dry, and then you add that other layer, and we're going to be incorporating these different values of the jade into the background. And I'm going to zoom in and let you see this rose. Now, I've just done this for teaching purposes. That's why this has been pre-drawn out for you all. And we are going to do a drawing on this. Okay, everyone. I have painted on the roses this much. I do apologize. I did record the footage of me painting this, and unfortunately it was recording me, but the other lens over here drooped down on me just enough to where it got the bottom of my elbow. So, but no worries, because this is not the only rose that we will do. In fact, this one is wet right now, so this is a great base coat. And also, I want to zoom out for just a second. Now, even though I did not jump right into my background color, I did want to let you know that once you get a background color on there enough, you can absolutely go ahead and start as soon as that background color is dry. Now, a lot of artists will tell you that you do not need a second coat, but you will absolutely see when you are painting. Rarely have I ever painted anything that did not need a second coat. And normally I will always recommend you paint your whole canvas first, because I want you to all get to a point where you can draw so well, your paintbrush is your pencil, and you can just start painting on top of your background color. So I will zoom in and let you all see what I've done, and I'm going to just explain to you until you see me painting on this some more course. But with roses, okay, you want to always put your focal point, which is the very center, and draw you a small circle. And you can see the darker pinks there in all three roses. So I'm going to stop the camera and do some more painting and some of the areas that are not wet. Okay, everyone, I wanted to tell you that I drew the roses out, with raw umber. And I went with this darker color because I knew that if it got painted over, I would still be able to see it because it would still be bleeding through my first layer. So up here in this corner, I'm just bringing down some lines in the rose. And it's always good when you use the raw umber or whichever color you feel comfortable with using for outlining your rose. Make sure that it's dry, definitely. Now this is the third rose that I have painted. The last one I painted was back in 2000, I want to say 7 or 8 maybe. So, and they were the long stem roses with the thorns and had more of a raw sienna dusted antique look. And I done a maroon rose. So this one will be the first rose rose painting that I've painted that will have a vase. And remember, with roses, if you have been painting skies, they are a little similar to clouds. And I am painting wet on wet. A lot of artists will tell you you have to wait. The video footage that I told you that I lost, I didn't lose it. It was recording, it just recorded my elbow. The lens dropped, like I was telling you all. And the reason I say this wet on wet, I done this in less than an hour. And look how beautifully these colors are just blending together. And just focus on exactly what you see with your reference to your rose. Your reference for your picture, your painting. Make sure you're painting exactly what you see. And as with portraits, everyone, focus on those triangles. I use this with portraits. I will look for the triangles, and you can absolutely get creative with shapes. And also, roses are sort of like fabric in a way because of the way they overlap and connect with all the lines and how they sort of curve and lay over and fold. I'm using a liner brush, and it is so amazing how far the paint will stretch out when lining your rose. And I am using some of the Crimson and Cad at times here, and because it's wet on wet, it is just spreading beautifully. And I rarely paint wet on wet, but occasionally I will. But I do not recommend it if it is your first rose. Absolutely let it dry. And then here's that focal point. I want to just kind of emphasize the circle area in here. I will be adding a vase to this, and you can add any vase you like. Just have common sense, about the size and proportion, and does it fit with the amount of flowers that you have. And it is perfectly okay just to do one long stem rose with the thorns. I have done 2 of those, like I said, and they were so fun. Now, this is not going to be completely finished. I am not even halfway done with my roses. But I am going to have to allow some drying time. Here in a moment, you're going to be seeing the background color in the jade green colors and values there. And I'm going to show you just a little mixing on that jade green. Or more of a blue jade, I should say.